This is video 2 in the Beyond the Install Quick Tips series. Today we're going to talk about getting all of the settings ready for BackupBuddy. So we've already installed it. That was video 1. And we're going to go in here and we're going to go to, you can go look at the getting started. It's just going to give you basically the same stuff I'm just hopefully more personable than a screen of text. So the first step we're going to go to is down to our settings. The first thing you need to set up here that it asks you for is the Import Buddy password. Import Buddy is the name of the script that if you need to move BackupBuddy or actually restore your site from one of the backups, you'll use something called Import Buddy. It does require a password to make sure that somebody can't accidentally or maliciously take your backup zip file off of your server or wherever you may have it and use it to copy everything from your site. So you're going to put a password on here. It can be anything you want. Remember that a secure password is at least 12 characters, is alphanumeric, meaning that it has letters and numbers, should have uppercase and lowercase letters. Some symbols in there are great. For the purposes of this demonstration, I'm just using a simple quick password. Repair Buddy is similar to Import Buddy, but it helps to basically kind of fix you can try it to fix the installation to see if it can maybe just repair or recover one or two files that are needed to fix it. So it also requires a password. I usually set the logging or debug to errors only. You may get a lot of warnings depending on your server setup and stuff like that. I don't always need to know about all this stuff, so I just leave it to errors only, which is the default. You can do errors and warnings or everything if you're testing, if you're trying to figure out where the problem is. Everything will log every individual step that it does. You can also set email notification. So do you want to get an email notification every time a backup starts? Do you want to get a notification every time it's completed? I generally don't require notifications for that. I know the schedule that I have set. I look for the error notification notices. So if for whatever reason the backup cannot finish or does not complete, I like to know, and then I can come in and try to figure out what the problem is and do a manual backup. Archive storage limits, you can set it either the quantity or the maximum size, depending on what you're backing up, how much media you have. If you're using a lot of pictures and videos and stuff like that, audio files on your site, the backups can actually get quite large. So keep that in mind if you're going to do the maximum size of backups. What I usually do is limit it to a number of backups, and I usually leave it at 5 or 6. With the schedule that I use, 5 will give me a full month of backups. Beyond that, I probably don't want them anyhow. They're too old to be anything useful, and if those last 5 backups aren't, if none of those are working, then I've kind of done something wrong. So 5 usually does good for me. You can have it set to, if you have, you can exclude certain tables in your backup. Sometimes people have other things sharing the database that WordPress is using. So with this, you can exclude certain tables in the database if you want. You can also use this to exclude certain folders, directories. So if you have some other stuff going on, again, some people have subdirectories set up for different sites and things like that in their root folder, and you may not want it to back those up. That would obviously take longer and make it a huge backup file. So you can exclude those. Of course, you don't want to exclude the WP-admin, WP-content, or WP-includes, because those are your 3 primary folders that have all of the stuff that makes WordPress run. So if you don't include those in your backups, your backup isn't going to be as useful as you want it to be. These are some other additional security things. I don't usually worry about this. We want to keep the zip compression on. I just go with the defaults here. There's some other things for troubleshooting, or if you're running into issues of them not playing nicely with other plugins or something like that. But the standard default settings are usually fine. So we're going to go ahead and save the settings. And then the next thing I do is I'll set up a remote destination. So you can have your backup set to go to to FTP, to be FTP'd to another server, to be emailed to you, to automatically get uploaded to your Dropbox, to automatically go to your Amazon S3 account, your cloud hosting account. There's lots of different options here of what you can do. So if you wanted to say set it up to go to your I don't generally recommend that you have the backups emailed to you, because if a backup is over, as it says right here, if your backup is larger than approximately 10 megabytes, you will encounter issues with most mail servers. Most mail servers are not set up to handle attachments larger than 10 megabytes. So this is where something like FTP settings are going to come in handy, or what I do and what I know a lot of people do is use an Amazon S3 account. Amazon S3 has a free tier that's usually good for about a year. Even when you do have to start paying for it, it is very, very, very inexpensive. It is easy to use, and it is a great cloud hosting platform for things like this, for your backups, for your media files, stuff like that, that you don't want to cause additional drag or take up additional space on your primary server. So I usually will go ahead and set that up. I'm not going to walk through that today. And then the next thing I do is go to scheduling. So my preferred schedule, as I talked about, will usually use is about 5 per month. What I usually do is a full backup once a month. And a full backup will take your entire WordPress database, which is all your content, all your settings, your widgets, all that sort of stuff, as well as all the files, which is the WordPress core files, in addition to all of your themes and with any customizations and any plugins that you're using. So you want to have that full file, that's the entire site, that will get your whole site exactly back up and running, exactly the same as it was when the backup was made. So if you haven't changed anything since the full backup was made, you can have your site back up, and usually, it only takes like 20 minutes usually to do a restore if you need to. With this schedule, you can also have it set to go to a remote destination. So had we set up one of those Dropbox, Amazon S3, any of those kinds of things, you can have it automatically be sent to that. As I was saying, I do a full monthly, so we're going to do a full backup interval of monthly. There are obviously lots of options here. When do you want it to run next? So if you just made a backup, you obviously don't need it to run again right now. You can set it for next week or to start 2 weeks from now or something like that. This one I usually don't have checked to delete the local backup after the remote send. On occasion, it will fail to sending it to a remote location, and that could be because of your server or the destination or a number of other problems. So I don't have it delete the local backup. I want to make sure that that stays there so that I do have another option to retrieve that backup if something goes wrong. So now we've added our full monthly schedule. Okay, and the next thing I like to do is a weekly database backup. Just the database. Remember, I said the database is where your content, all of your plugin settings and all that sort of stuff are. Now, we obviously don't need this to run right now because theoretically our full backup has just run. So I'm actually going to set it to run in a couple of days from now. Again, you can choose your remote destination, and I do not want it to delete the local backup after it's been sent. So if you look down here on the scheduling page, if you look down at the bottom, you'll see what your schedule is. This is when this one is due to run, and this is when this is due to run. You'll see when it was last run, all of that sort of stuff is here. And then right after I set up and install and set up BackupBuddy, I like to go in and make a complete backup of my site. This gives me my baseline to move forward with developing my site. Any other plugins, anything else, any changes I've done so far, this is my baseline. This is where I start. And incrementally through the development process, I will make additional full backups.